Sorted. So yeah, moving to the CT side for E-Rivals on Inferno, Mouse Sports on the T side. Winner of this will move on into the winner's match to play up against Tricked for a spot directly into the semifinals, and obviously the money drastically increases from then. You actually double from 10,000 to 20,000, and from there it's just the sky's the limit. Well, I guess the limit is 150,000 for first place, so there is a hard limit on how much you can make, but 70 grand for second.
It's not bad.
It's like half your day rate.
Yeah, day. Sure. Maybe year. But
It's a lot of money in a year. It's like, wait a minute.
Either way, we are going to be into our pistol round. And yeah, T-side start. I do expect more from the CT side of Inferno from E-Rival. Then again, expecting more than 0 isn't that hard to really hope for. But yeah, it's a map where a lot of the time it's a lot easier to get things done on the CT side. You know your rotations a little bit better. There's a lot less gambles being taken with the way that you play. But Frops has just clicked Yuho right out of the server. And the problem is they had to stack over on towards the B site. So getting back into this one's going to be very difficult. Doesn't look like they have a kit available or any utility either. The remaining 4 players all with Kevlar, so they're just going to have to hope that somebody gives them a peek, gives them a chance. And by the looks of things, you can see Mouse Sports are just waiting patiently for someone to walk into their crossfire.
Oh, Frozen picks up a nice clean little double. Rops as well. Connor, the only one to pick up a kill on his side in that round, but Mouse Sports will take the fairly easy 1-0 lead. And I honestly would not be surprised to see like potentially a 15-0 in the first half of Inferno.
Jesus, I'm meant to be the pessimistic one.
Let's be honest. The thing is, you're going up against one of the best teams in the world on a map that's very oriented about mid-round calls and calls in general and strategy. And then their CT side was a little bit lackluster on Dust 2, which you can kind of expect since T side is very strong on D2. But I don't know, if Mouse Sports like played the way they normally play against the best teams in the world, I feel like this should ideally be a 15-0 unless we have something really stand out. It's like double.
I'm going to give them more than that.
Okay, all right. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if we could see that. I'm not saying we will see it. But I feel like Mouse Sports...
Predicting a 15-0 in round 2. This is just brutal.
Maybe I should go back to that other game.
Yeah.
At least it's 6-on-6.
Well, there is a version of it in Counter-Strike.
In 1.6?
No, you got Overwatch. Come on. Either way, it's just going to be the same for E-Rivals. I think they can get like 4 or 5 rounds.
I mean, if we compare like to Dust 2, they did have quite a few really good rounds. Most of them off the back of like pistol rounds though, of like saving or just buying up a couple of deagles here or there. Big gamble out of E-Rivals to go for the big stack towards B, but unfortunately it's not going to be the direction Mouse Sports will be going, and this should be the bomb pent in a few seconds. And for E-Rivals here, you just save, right? You just like save the weapons. I mean, you don't have armor, but there's no need to give over money to the other team.
Yeah, the problem with that, though, is for someone like Yuho, he kind of needs a kill. Like, if he gets the 2400 added in, he's still in a pretty poor position overall. He can just about afford a rifle and Kevlar, which is not what you want going into your buy round. Also, you don't really want to allow Mouse Sports just to have everyone saving. Sure, you don't want to just walk into the MAC-10 or the MP5 and just hand them a load of cash. That would be as bad as it gets, but this sort of scenario, I do get it versus like a team of your caliber. Like if this was, say, as you said, like Mouse was playing against one of the better teams in the world, then yeah, sure, save your weapons. But I feel like being this early into the game and just basically going, here, Mouse Sports, have a load of money. Like it's a painful scenario to have. And now they're gonna go into the buy, and it is still gonna be dicey. Like I said, like Yuho can literally afford just the bare bones rifle. Utility has no incendiaries behind it. That's why a lot of the time you do see a full force buy into the second round if you're the CT side, because then in the fourth round you come in with a buy that could have an AWP and have all the utility you desire, which this map is pretty much based around. And on the other side of things, Mouse Sports are in a scenario where they basically get a bonus round. Like if everything goes completely wrong in this round, they can still afford AKs in the next.
Well, the little utility we did have out of E-Rivals, I think the majority of it was used over towards the B site just to smoke off the lower part of Banana. Now they're left with just 3 flashbangs and 1 smoke and 1 minute and 20 seconds to stall for. Looks like Rob's going to be left to his own device as he's going to... You love to see when those shots hit, though, when there's someone there.
I think Carrigan as well is going to know in this scenario that their utility is going to be limited. Like, this is very easy to predict if you're on the T side when you're this early into the game, especially if you know that they didn't really invest much into the previous round. So unless you think they saved, like, upgraded pistols with armor, this should be fairly easy to predict in terms of utility. And seeing that many grenades already fall out, you may now think that one of the sites is going to be easy to execute on. And they've managed to gain arch control, which is a big, big problem. Like, Carrigan is basically just using that SMG exactly how you should. Like, you use it as a risk. Like, if it gets dropped, it's not really a problem, but you can gain map control. And this is all just an elaborate ruse. They've gained so much control over towards A that they're trying to sell this as a bit of a fake. The only problem is they haven't actually cleared any of the A site. There's only 15 seconds left. The rotation did not come in. Freddy's been able to hold down the fort. He's got the support of Devil as well, and this has gone pretty much as bad as it can be. So that rebuy will be needed in the next round.
And well done, though. I mean, considering Yoho didn't have the money to buy up into, like, much utility, and there wasn't much utility on the entirety of the team of E-Rivals, they still were able to win in terms of having the right crossfire set up in the A site in towards Pit as well. So Freddy, who was a little bit quiet on Dust 2, gets a very crucial kill to kick off that round. Chris J as well, getting completely blinded up in that exchange. And now we have to see if E-Rivals can maintain this. As you said, Bounceworks were pretty much gifted a free round off the back of that because they didn't get challenged out by E-Rivals at all. So going back to the full buy, they've been ump in the hands of Kerrigan. Chris J with the SMG as well. Devil looking to peek around the corner. Might be in the perfect time. Actually goes to the spray down. Connects with some decent damage. Yuho's there to get the kill onto Kerrigan. More importantly, escapes with his life. But look at this. They're just pushing straight through the smokes.
Fair bit of damage on Frozen. Is going to be able to catch out one. Just tries to retreat. Isn't going to be able to. A couple of low players to face off against. But realistically, this should be a fairly easy second round. It will be Blue.
Well done.
Getting a couple. Yeah, a decent start coming out from E-Rivals. I think there was a couple of moments within that round which were a little bit unlucky. Like Carrigan, so he runs around the corner with a flashbang in his hand. His teammates being shot at, and Carrigan. It's one of those scenarios where you want to just swap back to your weapon, but you just feel like it's easier to just throw the grenade. And yeah, it doesn't really stand a chance in the end. But decent setup from E-Rivals. The one thing that worries me a little bit so far is that their rotations have been, like, basically once they're sure that their opponents are committed, like, they aren't taking any gambles, which can work in some scenarios, but if Mousesports work that out, then they may just be able to execute onto the side without really too many problems. However, early days at least, and... Okay. Okay. Oh, this is what Frozen can do with the pistol. He is wonderful to watch with that Deeg.
Oh, okay. Get a little spray down right there. It's good damage being done by Frozen and Frozen only. Up to 5,200. Currently on 5 kills. Chris J and Kerrigan have yet to reach that scoreboard with their first frag. What kind of rounds would you expect? Or would you want to see E-Rivals get on the CT side to have like a solid chance transitioning towards the T side? Do you have a number in your mind that, like, yeah, that's about where I want to see them to have a chance?
I'd say about 9.
Okay.
I think that's what I'm looking for. Just because I think that I expect Mousesports to have a good CT side, but if you can at least, like, get them a little bit nervous, maybe take yourselves a pistol round in the second half, then I think that we've at least seen some decent plays from them on the T side. Like, although they may not have, like, the synergy of a roster that's been together for a long, long time, they still seem to play off each other quite well. Like, the few crossfires we've seen have not been bad so far on the CT side, and on the T side of Dust 2, there
he
was
muted
a lot
his
of...
microphone, I'm sorry. He had tech issues because his microphone, I guess, wasn't working, and then he's like, well, is the mute button hit? Yep. It's cool. It's fine. He's cool.
Yeah. Don't worry, nobody saw that.
So anyways, we'll be back into this in a few seconds. Just got that sorted out really quickly. Yeah, I think Kerrigan maybe is a little under the weather. Looking a little exhausted. So yeah, E-Rivals, you said, you're starting to see some like life in them, starting to play off each other pretty well. I mean, they've had some pretty good crossfires. They've had some really good peaks as well. Like the timings have been on point, catching up Mouse Sports as they push in through middle, maybe towards Archway. I'm a little bit worried when they get to the T side how things are going to go when it comes to the organization. But luckily for them, they can just have one person say, we're going to do this and follow that kind of strategy, not have to play off each other as much. At the same time, I mean, Kerrigan and Chris J haven't really woken up so far in this first half yet.
Yeah, very early days. They've got the rifles back in their hands now, so this is where we expect to see a little bit more. Lots of utility being expended early. Kerrigan's actually just going to go running through again. Another player caught out with an aid, and well, there's Kerrigan's first couple of kills, and valuable ones at that. There's already going to be a man disadvantaged. AK will be retrieved, but the T's have just fallen back. I think they know that in this scenario, they just have to wait and build up towards one of these sites. And the CT side, in the meantime, have gambled heavily in towards this B site. 2 players already going down in that direction. So you can kind of understand it. Like, you're almost rotating to cover off the positions that your opponent may think are clear, but at the same time, then comes the mind games. Like, will it be predicted? Nice work from Connor, though. In fact, he's going to get a second as well. Still standing with a third. The Irishman stepping up and leaves it onto Mr. Cool to try and take him down. The bomb down, 45 seconds left on the clock. Connor just standing his ground. Most players would sort of fall back. You've got 4 kills, you've got enough. You've got control of the bomb. He's got the rotation in from his teammate, which will buy even more time. I'm not really sure how Rups is going to get out of this one. A couple of flashbangs to his name. Smoke to try and give himself a little bit of space. Devil trying to find him through the smoke, but in the meantime, it's the push in, and Connor gets the ace. A big play from him. 8-1 at the moment, and 5 kills in that round.
I mean, I'd agree. The send out in the open part after getting 4 kills, but maybe he's trying to do the unexpected, maybe trying to catch him off guard. You're not going to expect a man to still be sitting there, especially when you're in a 2-on-1 situation. You want to play off of each other, right? Obviously, one player goes in, you need to push at the same time to return the kill. But Kerrigan just being allowed to walk straight through his smoke to pick up 2 quick kills like that. Luckily, Connor was there to save them and keep their hopes alive. 4-2, E-Rivals have the lead. A little bit of a cheeky stacking towards middle, and it works out. Woxic's going to fall, but again, they're up against pretty much the force up with pistols and armor out of Mouse Sports.
Yeah, that's also just a big moment for players as an individual. Like, to get an ace versus Mouse Sports, as someone who hasn't really played within the top of the scene before, that's going to be a big confidence booster for him, and
yeah.
It's not something we expected. And the other thing to mention is it was mainly Mouse Sports doing that in the previous game. Like, sure, we had a moment or two where, okay, like, yeah, Devil got a couple of picks or Connor was playing well, but it wasn't just acing Mouse Sports as they attempted to run a banana. That was something that, say, Frozen was doing or Rops was doing when he was running into a site. So if he can start kicking up and hitting another gear...
Ooh, another dink, too.
Then maybe there's an opportunity for them here, and they are going to be putting their 5th round onto the board. There's not really much Kerrigan can hope to do here. Maybe an extra kill. Has managed to retrieve a rifle. 40 seconds left on the clock.
Thing is about...
That is bold.
Yeah.
To push through a smoke with an AWP.
Thing is that play that Connor made, I mean, it might not be like the smart play in the situation, but at the same time, like, I mean, you've played and you've been in those moments where you get like 1 or 2, 3 like really good kills, and you're feeling like the moment's right, that you need to keep going for these shots because you're feeling hot. And I feel like that was a smart play by him, and hopefully can use that to help, rally up his team. 5-2 against Mouse Sports. CT side Inferno. You're down 1-0 in the series so far. They're not looking too shabby now. They have the double up setup. Connor going to be switching over to this. And Mouse Sports, well, they do have Woxic on the AWP, and they do have an SG for Chris J. But the early investment out of the holds towards B out of E-Rivals has really been doing a good job of shutting Mouse Sports down. And again, Devil wins out against the trade against Woxic.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing a strong start to this map for E-Rivals, and in all honesty, there hasn't really been much of a response. Like, Carrigan probably made the best play we've seen from mousesports so far. Just an aggressive brute force push up banana. That's about it. Other than that, it's really just been E-Rivals dominating, and something needs to change. They tried it in this round, which was just the AWP looking for that opening pick. Isn't going to find anything, and instead of just rushing in towards that B site, they're going to instead attempt something through the apartments. Now, this is going to be difficult. I don't think they'll expect the secondary AWP to be here, although it may not be there.
With him falling back, with Connor actually going back towards his arch side, it's given up control of the A site towards the mousesports team. Carrigan again. Picks up a much needed kill so they can lock this down. Bomb should be planted momentarily. Connor again, going to pick another kill. This one onto Carrigan, now down to a 3-on-3. But 2 players rotating in. Connor going to be anchoring towards this long position.
And the CT side looking like they're just going to fall out of this round. It seems like it's on lockdown. Secondary AWP is going to be retrieved as well, so it's something they can bring into the next round. Although I'm not sure how viable that's really going to be for the team, because if Connor's playing over towards the B site, he's been fantastic with the rifle, so I don't know why you'd switch him off it. I guess maybe to be a little bit more dynamic. And then the other one, yeah, sure, okay, I expect Devil to have one.
I mean, Devil's been solid, but I don't think we've seen Connor be... I'm not saying not solid, or I'm not saying solid, but I mean, he's been more effective with the rifle, like you were saying before, than he's been with the ops so far. But then again, he was one of the top fraggers for E-Rivals on the map of Dust 2. Devil, again, has just been consistently hitting so many great shots. That's the part I'm curious about. The Devil was left at short with no backup. No one was watching apartments. That's actually when Connor turned away, as we saw them starting to push through to hit the A site. So again, miscommunication, something that maybe it's been having problems in the team that we've been talking about.
Just timing. You know, in all honesty, I think that was just a little bit of bad luck. Like, the chances are in buy rounds at least, there's not too many occasions where 3 players are going to run out of apartments with AKs. Like, you might see that in a MAC 10 round, but the risk of that sort of play is so high that it almost just does come down to timing. Because if there's anybody in pit or anybody in graveyard, that player is dead. So it was a bold play out of mousesports that completely caught them off guard, and as we sort of saw, if Connor had been there, they probably would have been fine. Right. It's a little bit of bad luck. I think potentially there's some communication there, but I don't think you can really communicate that or expect that, I guess I could say.
Okay. We're now into round 9. Maybe the aggression's going to be coming out of E-Rivals. You can see Connor seems to be feeling himself, 12-2.
Yeah, and we started today, if you told me he was going to be the best player in the server at this point of the map, I would have called you crazy. Because he really is performing. Like, he's locked down banana. We've even seen over the last couple of rounds, mousesports haven't really challenged it too much because he's just been owning them.
Well, I mean, to be fair to mousesports, their success has come from the A side mostly. That was before they even fought Connor over towards the B side of banana. So I think they've been definitely anchoring towards that position. But hey, now that they started to rotate towards B more and go in this general direction, Connor's been able to step up and more importantly, stand out in a way that he wasn't able to prior. Not a lot of smokes left for the side, though, of E-Rivals to stop a push coming in towards B or to separate this push. The flashbang just to completely dislodge Connor.
Oh, that flashbang actually saved Freddy in that scenario, and again, it's looking like a shutdown round, although Freddy will actually go down. Connor's going to be there to hold on, and yeah, I like the little pop flash that he had just as he faded away. Freddy wouldn't have been able to get that second kill if it wasn't for him, and again, very strong defense of this B site.
So for your mousesports here, do you just give him the respect and stop going this way? Do you still continue to look for something? I mean, obviously Freddy, the double kill he had there was just some really fine aiming. I think in most situations that kill would have been traded on. Then they would have had just Connor by himself with the op.
I think you can definitely maybe make an argument to go for another apps play or like try and go for this A side, but if you just start giving up banana, that's where things are a little bit more of a problem. But great start already for Frozen. quick play towards this arch side. He's managed to catch out Devil already, and Rops finds one with a pistol. These are the sort of rounds that mousesports can just steal away. Woxic looking to get the bomb down. He's going to spot the players coming up close, but left completely blind, and Rops picks off another one. Leaves it on to Connor and Freddy, and that kill from Freddy might give them an inkling that they want to go for this. Like, up until that point, it was 100% a save. But once you get that pick, there's the temptation to go for it.
Well, there's no pick currently in their hands, but Connor is just hitting shots left, right, and center. Down to a 2-on-2. Froze with it up in his hand as well. Freddy's going to need to help open things up, but he's going to be shut down, unfortunately. Now Connor, by himself, he's got to run away. He needs to save this op. He's been able to do some really good work with it. But unfortunately, it won't be enough to win them the round. And mousesports now going to get on to 4. E-Rival's still in the lead.
See, when I was younger, I was told the main sort of like magical beings in Ireland were leprechauns, but clearly they didn't tell me about Connor.
You never heard the legends about him?
To be fair, he does have a name that could definitely fit within that sort of story. The legend of Connor McCool. Oh, God. Sorry, I'm 1/8 Irish. I'm allowed to make that joke.
They've actually rotated, by the way. Devil, well, he's been towards the B side. He's also been peeking towards A, so he's been playing like a really fluid op role. But I wonder if that means that Connor's actually going to be towards the A site. Currently has the M4, so I believe he actually is going to be there.
And maybe looking to try and switch things
long.
up.
Maybe he's like feeling like that good at the moment that they can just put him in different positions where they feel like they're the weakest, which 100% has been the A site so far.
Oh, only a 1-for-1 trade this time, though. A little bit more of an aggressive playing towards middle from both teams, in fact. mousesports flashing through the smoke, and they're going to take that early pick. And I think this could be almost a gamble from them. Now, Connor normally plays over on the other side of the map, so if you kill him on A, does that mean that they've gambled with their current positions? And it does, and that's the one-man pick. So all they really needed, a one-and-done position set up for Devil. I think if he even gets that kill, the chance of falling back are slim. And now mousesports have gained the whole side. And that's a pretty good call from them, in all honesty. Like, if you see the B player playing on A, it probably means there is a reduced defense. Although initially we did see Freddy alongside Devil. It was just that the rotation came away at the wrong time.
We also had Yuho unfortunately go down by a Rops and a lurk. Oh. All right, Chris J, calm down. He's your teammate. Looks like they're gonna chase this weapon down too. It's just Freddy left alone. Only 100. Well, $50 between him and Yuho together makes 100. The team is just really lacking on funds at the moment, which is kind of unfortunate. I wonder like how they're gonna come back from this one. Connor, you can't just keep rotating positions because obviously he hasn't been playing the A site for the majority of this game. You can't just drop him in there and expect him to already know how mousesports has been playing this position and how he can use it to his advantage. Over towards Banana, he's realized, well, they don't really check this certain position if I play a little bit aggressively and a little bit off angle. And he was able to make that work multiple rounds in a row.
The other problem of mixed teams, though, in general, is that you're always going to have, or very, very likely going to have players who don't like playing certain positions.
Yeah.
So, like, it might have just been a call that Devil was like, okay, I have a decent spawn for B. Can you cover over on that side of the map? Or, like you said, like maybe Connor just went, okay, things haven't been going well on A, so I'll try and switch it up. Which, okay, sure, you do see within a, like, I would say more normal teams. But it's less likely. Like, you're going to have faith in the certain player to actually be able to hold on to a certain part of the map. And if they're having a bad game, you expect them to come back from things rather than just going, okay, let's just chuck a man into mid and see if it goes well.
I mean, they have gone back to leaving Connor, or at least putting Connor back towards the B site. Then again, obviously just pistols, so kind of hard to judge exactly if that's their go-to plan for now on. And at least luckily for the team that he did invest into a smoke, so you can buy some time. The problem is none left for the team. No way you can stall any sort of push coming through now, especially with just the pistol. Kerrigan's going to come in backwards, and Connor's going to take the head off. And a second on to Chris J. Assist from Devil coming through from earlier on, and now he's got an AK. Unluckily for him, though, in the rotate that did happen for E-Rivals, the bomb's headed back towards A. Something about Connor.
T-side still with a good opportunity for this one, but weapons have been retrieved, and they're going to be very quickly right up close towards these remaining players. Nade and Molotov into the corner. That removes Woxic and leaves it all onto Frozen to try and clutch again. It isn't going to be happening. It's again Connor to close things out, but sure, you give props to Connor for those first couple of kills, but why were mousesports trying to flash through that smoke? Like, I get that you can try and catch players off guard, but if you know this is a weaker buy, that is just a mad play to be trying to make. Like, there's 9 times out of 10 there's somebody weighing on the other side of the smoke, especially in these sort of rounds where you just have a little bit of utility. If you have a big advantage and there's over a minute left on the clock, why is that your play? He doesn't get that kill if there isn't a smoke there. Like, I don't know. Yeah. I think that's just over-aggressive from mousesports, maybe getting a little bit too confident or thinking they can get away with a few things, but I think that was just a bit silly.
Well, if you're Connor, you're not going to complain.
No, that's 19-3. I don't think he could have even imagined getting this many kills, and he's just hit 20. A nade onto Chris J. Money now becoming an issue for mousesports once again, and well, at the beginning of the half, you said, I could see this being a 15-0.
I mean, there is a world where it could have. There's also a world where I could have been a pro player at one point.
I don't agree.
All right. Well, at least you're honest. That's what I like about you, Tom. You don't hold
anything back. I think even just not even to like put you down. I just mean they have been very impressive. Like that we've not quite seen what we expected from mousesports, but we've seen a lot more than what we expected from E-Ravens on both maps. The only thing that worries me is, are we going to have a similar sort of display in the second half where they're just unable to quite get things together? Because this is also a much harder T-side, like than on Dust 2.
I mean, we also saw them, like, T-side compared to CT side on Dust 2. It was 8-7 in favor of them on Dust 2 in the first half.
On the T side, though.
Yeah, and then they didn't get a single round.
Exactly. Like, that's what I mean.
CT side,
like, I think this T side is more difficult.
Yeah.
So I'll be interested to see. But 8 rounds already on the CT side. I said like 9 was the marker for them for it to be a possibility, and they're definitely getting towards that. Also, this round is currently pistols. Also, Woxic has 1 kill. Chris J only has 3. Like, it's been a pretty poor performance across the board. Like, we've had a moment or two from Rops and Frozen, but nothing of the caliber we expect. And by the looks of it, they might be going to try and brute force this over towards that mid position once again. Frozen just catches out his ex-teammate Devil, and there is now an AWP dropped on the floor, I would imagine. Whether they can retrieve it, though, and Blue has pretty much sorted this round out. He's got the support of Yuho as well, leaving just Woxic and Rops remaining.
Yeah, Woxic was looking back towards that B site, which we could see on the minimap was completely left open. Instead, he's going to be regrouping here with Rops. And I agree. I mean, E-Ravens are playing well, but it's still going to be a mystery how things happen on their T half. Because they're still going to need quite a few rounds to close out the map. And then if they do win this one, we still have Train to go to next, which I don't even know how they're going to perform on this. Rops, what? Pretty sure he should not have been able to pick up those 2 kills. Just rushes straight out of apartments. Again, timing working to his advantage. Woxic making his way in towards the site. They're going to get the bomb down here. And don't tell me E-Ravens loses this round.
Well, after all the praise that we've just been giving them, it would be one to throw away. As I said, Rops has had a glimmer or two of hope within this map so far. Could be trying to find out a little bit of information. Spots the Molotov going onto the site. X-utility being expended. I don't think they expect him to be in the pit. Even still, the turn hasn't come in, and Woxic will get his 2nd kill onto the board. 1 stolen away from mousesports. You can't let your foot off the gas for a second because they will come back.
I like how that's one of our replays. Him just Zeusing a chicken in spawn. One of the few times we've seen the Zeus get a kill, so to be fair. But yeah, Rops, I mean, jumping out of apartments. That's not the first time we've seen them just come out of apartments without flashes, without nades, without smokes.
That's been one of the weaknesses for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see, Connor going to be back on the M4.
You're obsessed, aren't you?
Yeah, of course. I mean, when you have someone playing like this well against one of the top teams in the world, you gotta look at him, and he's
gained a new fan, has he?
I mean, don't go that far yet. We'll see.
Highlight what he's doing every round, and then you're like, oh no, I wouldn't call myself a fan.
Well, Freddy gets turned on. Trishay's gonna get one, as Connor does get walks it before he falls. The B side's completely left open. I want to see if he keeps playing. I want to see if he keeps playing well. You know, it's luck of the Irish for a reason. You know, I want to see if he can, if it's luck or if it's skill. And we'll see on the T side.
Manages to get through, finding one, but the trades come back. So basically, what you're saying is you're not going to support him through the bad times. You're only going to be there.
Oh, bandwagoner, 100%.
You're only going to be there when it's going well.
Yeah, exactly.
You're an awful person.
That was my old alias, Jason Bandwagoner Kaplan.
I don't think it was.
No, it definitely wasn't.
What was it?
You really want to know?
Yeah, sure.
I'll tell you after the show.
Is it that bad?
Well, if it was bad enough to get a publisher to say, hey, change your alias.
Is it something you're actually allowed to say on the stream?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Oh, okay.
There's like a whole story behind it, but no one wants to hear the story. It was but, and then ILY. What? But, and then ILY. Yeah. We don't need to hear that story. The name before that was way better, though.
What was that?
Revless, silver backwards. That was edgy, you know, did the capital S and everything.
God. I'll be honest, like, anybody who does that with the name backwards thing, it just tilts me.
It was a different time. I mean, I'm way older than you, and well, speaking of different times, you can see Mousesports on the CT side rushing straight down middle here. And Chris Shea pops ahead directly off blue, gets the bomb down. And the team's going to be separated. Yuho has an opportunity to hit some shots, but unfortunately Chris J just keeps hitting these one-taps. There you go, Mousesports. They've had enough. They just rush straight down middle and tie things up at 8 apiece.
Yeah, and Chris started to come back into this game a little bit. I think he was on 3 kills over the last few rounds of the half, but managed a decent final round, a decent pistol round, and he's not the sort of person you want to see like rising back to the occasion. If they get Woxic on board as well, then this is pretty much over, but 8-8 at the moment. Also, the other thing as well is for Connor, who has been performing very well so far, he has 22 kills when I think the next highest on his team is 9. So the chances of him being able to...
Oh my god.
Okay. Yeah, if Woxic comes back online, they're in trouble. There you go. But yeah, I think for doing this in one half is one thing. To continue this into the second, very unlikely. Like,
yeah. And I see Mousesports playing like a little bit, or potentially playing more of like a respect style. I imagine they're going to take banana control pretty much a majority of the rounds, which I don't know how your rivals is going to get that back without investing such a heavy amount of utility and manpower to actually push straight through that. So then that leaves pretty much middle, alt mid, and A to push in towards, where you still have so many players waiting to receive them. Okay. All right, Freddy. Keep doing stuff like that. We can be looking good, but he's going to be by himself against, well, now 2 players left. Doesn't have the bomb anywhere near him, but he has time to get it.
Yeah, the thing is, getting anywhere near that bomb is going to be very difficult indeed. And then even if he does, he's got to try and get towards one of the sides. I think it's much more likely he kills everyone than does that. And Frozen is going to make sure that that's not a possibility. It is going to be 9-8, the lead taken, I think that's by Mouseball. Is that the wrong way around?
Yeah, should be them.
Okay.
It was 7-8, and they won the last 2 rounds.
So, yeah, scoreboard is currently wrong. But
well, the names are in the wrong spots at the top, but the players on the left and right side are correct. With the
oh, God. If anything, that's more confusing. I'd rather just the number was wrong. But there we go. I think it might just be the overlay. It says it correctly on the screen. But yeah, we have the buyback in. They did a decent amount of damage in that last round, though, so this could actually be a problem for Mousesports, because a round win here would set back their economy. It's full AKs, utilities at a minimal, but I would say that's not been the biggest part of the E-Rivals game. A lot of it's been down to individual skill. Great pre-fire coming out from Carrigan. 2 kills with just an MP9. Now there's extra rifles to be found. Cross being watched by Frozen just in case anybody did attempt to get back towards that side. And he knows that he has Chris J deep within Banana as well, just spotting in case there is a double back around from E-Rivals. Although they seem a little bit uncertain as to where they're going, especially with the way that mouz Sports have been playing over the last few rounds with a lot of aggression. I don't really expect too much from them in this situation, but they have managed to get quite close to Chris. A trade here would give them the chance, but he's bought enough time at least for there to be another player within the site.
That's what a Molotov too, to buy even more time if they needed it. Obviously, with the time left on the clock, we could have seen E-Rivals maybe go back towards the A site. And there's no utility left for a terrace side to use. So you got Woxic watching the cross. Oh my god.
Oh no.
Why does he ever buy the op, you know? You can do this with the scout every time.
Why didn't he buy on the other side?
Yeah.
There we go. 10-8.
I mean, we've seen the last 2-3 rounds now. This last round, Chris J was left alone towards Bomb Banana. They got their early control, left him there. I really wonder, like, do E-Rivals need to do something crazy? Maybe just push the smoke with a flashbang and catch him off guard? Because they're losing almost half the map to use. Just for the fact that mouz Sports feel like there's no pressure for them to keep maintaining this hold.
Ooh, I like the nade stack. Trying to get rid of him early on. The problem is the way the mouz Sports basically do this on Banana is that they have the early aggression with 2 of the players. They take the control and then they leave Chris there.
Yep.
And Chris is an intelligent Counter-Strike player. He's not going to be just giving that up without at least buying enough time for a rotation. You saw in the last round he was peeking it, spots them, then falls back behind the sandbag. Sure, he loses the duel, but by that point, a few seconds has gone by and Frozen's already back on the site. So, like, if they do take this, or even if they're just playing like information, like you can see Frozen doing exactly the same thing now, by the time they've closed him down, somebody else is already there. And that's pretty much the best way to play around Banana. Unless you're going to go very deep within it and take it completely. Just this like information game, just spotting over the top. There's not really much E-Rivals can do, because if they do start running down, either Frozen's just going to leave, or, as I said, he goes down and somebody else is in his place.
When they also have a smoke to buy time, too. So if he does see you with the jump spots, you're just going to pop the smoke down, and you have to push through it if you want to make the play work. But they're going to be looking to wrap around towards the A site. Rops Kerrigan here to hold on. Trying to hit the shots in towards the apartment. Flashbang comes through, and Kerrigan takes down the first. Rops is just trying to stay alive, trying to buy some time, and they're just getting the kills left and right. Again, Rops comes in. That's going to be his 3rd of the round, and now it's just all on blue. And well, Rops will get a 4th, and mouz Sports will get an 11th on the board.
Yeah, there's not many positions that I would least like to face up against Rops in. Like, because that's basically the perfect position in terms of angles. Like, yeah. He is someone who has mastered, like, his specific peaks. Like, he knows exactly what he's doing. He knows exactly the position he needs to be facing in. And so that pit is the worst, because there's a little gap, then he can peek into the left angle, he can peek into the right angle, then he can peek back even further into the left angle, and he will just take each one of these kills, switching positions every single time.
And the thing is, I love how he doesn't, like, over peek. He doesn't go too far to be seen by multiple players. He's just going to get a 1v1 every time, and he knows that he just needs to buy time. I mean, if Kerrigan goes down, he needs to buy time for the rotates to come in back from B. Oh, Woxic not able to get a shot off there, unfortunately. He's just so much utility being thrown his way, if not the last round, then right now as well. Down to just 48 points of health, and another Molotov. I just want to burn him.
Oh, that's fantastic. Like, I bet the comms there are just like, what? Like, what is going on? Like, what am I even supposed to do in this scenario? But that is a hell of a lot of utility just used to clear one player from one angle. I think it's because so far in this game, I don't think that was a counter to Woxic. I think that was a counter to Chris and Frozen, who've just been taking Banana every single round. So we saw E-Rivals' response be, okay, let's try and force them out of these angles. The only problem is, even once you do, that doesn't necessarily guarantee you anything, and it's still taken them over a minute to actually get this much control, and you still have Woxic within the site, you still have Frozen there up close, which clearing him out is now going to be nigh on impossible because the best way to do it is with a Molotov, which you no longer have.
Yeah, and the way, well, we'll get to that in a second as we see the push potentially coming through. Woxic able to hit his first shot, saving the smoke in case Molotov comes in. Doesn't have any way to escape with the help of that smoke, but he's got Frozen off to the side, so it gives Frozen a little bit of cover. He's not able to hit the shot. Woxic gonna have some backup from Kerrigan, as unfortunately Woxic's gonna fall. Somehow, Kerrigan, he's getting close. Somehow Kerrigan's still alive. He's waiting for the rotates to come through. Chris J gets picked up on that.
Oh, that was so close. 1 HP. And Rops not going to be going for this, even with the round starting to go in their favor. They haven't really built too much economy up. Like, it's 4 rounds in a row, but they haven't won a single round with more than 3 players alive. So, although the money is not bad, keeping these extra weapons could be quite valuable. And you can see Rops is just going to be trying to get an exit kill or 2. Well, he hasn't really been missing over the last few rounds, so you can see why he's willing to go for these sort of plays. Has an extra nade as well. Oh, if that dunks into the corner. Oh, I think... Oh, oh no, he died to the bomb. I thought that because Devil like tried to move away and just only had 1 HP, didn't get far enough away.
You know what's scary to me, though, is if Woxic did hit that shot. Like, we saw E-Rivals, as you mentioned before, they committed so much utility just to get the initial control banana, but it still took them over a minute of time to even get in towards the site. If Woxic starts hitting those shots from that position, I don't see how they're going to dislodge any sort of defense here. But that just goes to show that, hey, Mousesports and their investment into early banana control time and time again, round and round again. You have to fight for E-Rivals. You have to fight for every inch you want to get on the map.
Yeah, I think it also shows how valuable their utility usage was because they did a lot of damage there. He just got stuck jumping into a teammate, didn't he? Or was it just jumping across?
He was just jumping across to get the up.
Well, something else we've all been there for. But this round so far is not going well at all. Chris very low on HP. Already losing Woxic and Kerrigan. This was actually a fairly hefty investment from Chris. Everybody else seems to be saving money, so I imagine we'll see him go for maybe something like an MP7 into the next round or just some sort of pistol. Like, it's not too much of a detriment to him. He is the man of many weapons. She gets tagged up. It's to the edge of the smoke, so close to go down. You can see Frozen is almost just lurking behind him like, go on, go on, no, die. Give me the ore. I want the ore. Oh. I don't live. It's meant to be mine. As if he still gets a kill.
Every time Frozen gets a kill that maybe he shouldn't, I just look at his picture. And I'm just like, that's the face I'd make too. It's like, yeah, that happened. Oh my gosh, he's just constantly getting spammed down. But, you know, to be honest, with how this like half is gone for Mousesports, I look at the scoreboard and I forget that E-Rivals are actually going to be 1 round away from tying things up.
Yep.
It's felt like Mousesports have been super dominant, but I guess in the rounds that they have won, they've won dominantly. In the rounds that they've lost, it's been a lot closer than that. But either way, E-Rivals are still holding on and still fighting and have almost tied things up.
Well, the other thing as well is, like, financially, Mousesports not in a great position. They've also won both pistols. Like, if you take that into consideration, that Mousesports have won both pistols, if they hadn't, they'd be losing. Like, that is literally what's changing the game at this point in time. And yeah, you are right. There's been a lot of sort of cleaner rounds, and a lot of the time in that first half especially, E-Rivals pretty much would just rely on Connor to carry them through. As said, in the first half, he had over 20 kills. The next player on the board was 9.
What's he currently at now, actually?
I think he's slowed down. He's on 23.
So he really hasn't gotten anything on the T side.
Yeah, I think he's on maybe 1 kill. I think he had 22 in the last half, but I could be wrong.
Again, the B side trying to get aggressive to hold. E-Rivals have stopped giving this up without a fight, and instead of them a decent amount of damage. Chris Shea was, unfortunately, the guinea pig last time. This time it's going to be Frozen. And the flashbangs coming through, not really landing the way they want it to. But we can see, just on the minimap alone, though, how many players are still invested into this position out of E-Rivals. Looks like they will back away. And they still have a lurker, actually, Freddy, going to be over towards the apartments looking for anyone getting aggressive. But to be fair, Mousesports haven't been super aggressive really anywhere. They just play like a normal standard wait and see kind of style of let them come to us and we'll just beat them in aim battles. Yeah, utility usage.
I think maybe if things were going really well for Woxic, you might see him peek into second mid. But other than that, like most teams, unless they're in like full BM mode, are not going to go running into mid or pushing that far through the apartments unless they feel that the push is already coming
Well,
in.
the thing is, with what they did on Pistol, they did do that. They did rush down middle with a couple players. So I was expecting more of like a no respect style out of them, but then they just went back to the standard, standard play.
Good counter Molotov, but it's not really anything to do with the play there. This is more Freddy just trying to bait out some rotations. Smoke's gonna fall in. Chris J up above, that'll be the opener. Probably has to fall back, but he's caught by Devil. Do they expect Carradine? They do! Good shots from Devil to open up this site, but Frozen is still here. And Freddy just killed his teammate with the nade. Definitely not what you wanted as you're about to take that retake with an advantage. Frozen, though, is so much deeper than the rest of his team. Like, you've got Woxic just holding back towards spawn. The rotation from Rops is very far away. And they don't have a kit to play with. So I think this almost has to come down to Frozen looking to retreat out of this one. And he does. Just look to fall back, escaping while the smoke is still there. They are just going to be able to do that. Maybe try and hold them in.
As I say, the money's not great for the side of E-Rivals.
Or mouse sports.
Yeah, or mouse sports. So at least going to get one more casualty off this, ideally. There we go. Woxic gets that kill, and they do clean up Freddy as well. So a clean wipe, a clean slate. But E-Rivals still win the round and tie things up against mouse sports at 11 apiece. I know you said there's no ways to go into a third map when we started the series.
I think we both said things that we now regret.
True. Do you think there is that third map chance now with how E-Rivals have been able to step up? I mean, Devil is starting to really get into this. Devil was a key point for their success on Dust 2. The op shots he hit consistently.
I still can't see a world where mouse sports don't win this. Like, they'd still have enough time to sort of take a moment, take a pause.
Yeah.
Sure, some of their players haven't been performing to the level we expect of them. Like, you've still got a fairly quiet game from Woxic. Sure, Carradine's at the bottom, but he is the in-game leader of the team. And don't really expect him to be fragging mad. It's only really Rops that I would say is playing to the level we expect of him. And at the moment, they've started avoiding him. Like, they've just started going B. Like, that's been the difference maker. That's why we've seen 3 rounds in a row. I'm pretty sure all of those rounds have been on that side of the map because he has been deadly. Like, just don't go near him. And I know that seems silly. I said that don't do that. But when he plays Pit, he's actually quite avoidable. Like, you can sort of work around the rest of the map. He's very much sectioning off a small corner of the A side. Also, they've started to counter different players with utility, like, for example, the top of Banana. And, yeah, sure, in the last round, it was pretty much just Devil hitting some ridiculous shots entering into that side. But if the players over on that side of the map are not playing particularly well, then it's not a problem.
Oh, nice little boost peek out of Woxic there. Catches out Yuho, and again, Connor, he hasn't gotten more than 1 kill in this half so far, unfortunately. I mean, he put in the work on CT sides. He can't really complain too much. But I would wonder if E-Rivals would actually be in the lead now if he was able to have that same success.
Yeah, I think that's a bit unfair to ask of a player.
Oh no, I'm not saying he needs to. I mean, like I said, he put in the work on CT side. He's done the deed. It's just unfortunate for him that it wasn't able to carry over as much onto the T side, because then we could see E-Rivals with the lead.
Even still, this is only the AWP and the AK. They've switched Rops over on towards this B site, which leaves a lot of the pressure onto Woxic, but he's going to be smoked off. 45 seconds left. We're going to start seeing the rotation back from Rops, although it's hesitant. I think that's because Freddy started sending the fake. But if they kill him off, then there may be a possibility here. But they're really going to need Woxic to try and slow down this push. Peek out, he finds himself another shot. We haven't seen too much from the AWP of this man so far, but now, just look at Freddy. He's managed to bypass the majority of the players, but this round has gone so weird. Now Chris has found the bomb on Banana. They've got 15 seconds, it's done. There's absolutely nothing they can do. They've just got to try and hold on to their weaponry as they'll try and hide in the backlines. Nice shot from Freddy, at least, to remove Frozen. Can try and make things a little bit more costly, but the fact that Chris has found an AK and Carradine's found an AWP, it's going to mean we have a hugely bolstered defense in the next. And that again, it's just a bit of a weird scenario. Like, Freddy manages to sneak through, so okay, of course you're going to think Banana's clear. And at the same time, Chris then gets aggressive just past him. That must have been the one of the weirdest transitions of play ever.
They only had, what, an AK and an AWP into that round, too.
Yep.
And they recover another AK and another AWP. Like, that's... You couldn't ask for anything nicer than that, to be honest. And they're up 12-11, able to reclaim that lead. And the side of E-Rivals, well, utility's lacking. They got the weaponry at least, and they're still just looking towards this B side. I mean, that's where their success has been. Like you're saying before, you can't really do much against Pit with the way mouse sports are playing, other than just avoid them completely. But at what point do these B hits stop to work? At what point do mouse sports read into them a little bit better and are more prepared? At what point do mouse sports just say, hey, let's start to stack like they did in the last round?
I think the other thing here is, at what point does Chris J now have an AWP? Because that's where things get a little bit more dangerous. Smoke gonna go down. They're gonna try and push through it, and actually successful, but Chris keeps the man advantage alive, and Woxic trying to set up a few flashbangs. Incendiary gonna go over the top to try and stop them being able to get any of these positions.
No smoke as well to cut off CT spawn, so the angles that E-Rivals can even hold to be more passive in the site. Freddy's gonna drop Kerrigan, so at least have control towards Banana, so he can focus attention towards the push in towards CT spawn. But you can see Devil with no smoke, he has to watch so many different angles. They need the rotate to come back in from Banana, which he's gonna be doing. Freddy's gonna be there to help out, but Woxic takes down Devil. Blue needs to hit these shots. He's got players pushing in from construction. He goes to the first on a Woxic, turns around, but he gets dropped by Rops. And now Freddy against two to keep things tied between the two teams. He gets a straight onto the first. He gets almost the second, and Rops comes through, but he doesn't have the time to defuse the bomb, and Freddy holds on long enough to tie things back up at 12 apiece.
Dude, that's the second time now that they managed to win themselves around with 0 players surviving.
Yeah.
The economy game has never really got going from E-Rivals, and well, thanks to that sort of round where they managed to save an AWP and an AK and win, I suppose, with the extra pistols, there's still going to be a strong buy coming in from Mousesports into this round. Does Carrigan really only have a Deagle? I feel like something has to be missing there, but maybe not. Both teams coming in with a weaker buy.
No.
An aggressive push in, and Frozen's been caught. Chris J gonna try and fix things, and instead things get worse. Connor with a double. You wanted him to come back into the server. Well, he's arrived. And the flashbang from Carrigan not going to achieve anything. He runs through and tries to do some damage himself, but that's the round over. A 13th onto the board for E-Rivals, and oh.
That was such a weird round.
Yeah. That was individual play after individual play. Attempted. Like, the first one from Frozen was risky. The second one from Chris was an attempt to try and basically rectify the round. And Carrigan basically had nothing to lose. But you add all of them together, and it's just like, well, this is just madness. And Rops just sat on the other side of the map going, hey, guys, do you want to come towards Pit? Please. I'll kill you all, and then we'll win.
That's kind of the unfortunate part about being too good at the position you hold.
Well,
that people just stop going that direction.
I think they've won. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they've won all 5 of their rounds on B. Unless one of them was mid. I think they won one where it was like Woxic had a scout and they pushed mid. Like they naded him at the beginning. But nearly all of their rounds has ended on B.
Yeah.
I wonder if they will make some sort of change. Because the time they actually had Rops over there was was when they won. But they had Woxic with an AWP, which they do still have again.
I mean, we've seen crazier things happen in Counter-Strike. What, not too long ago? What, like just like 2 days ago? Team Liquid took a loss against Sharks. Get to see VSM coming in. Obviously a little bit different rosters, but either way, E-Rivals getting one step closer to taking to Train. And again, I don't know how that map would go. I didn't expect Inferno to take a turn like the way it has. But credit to E-Rivals. They've even told us they didn't really practice as a team before this tournament. They all played individually to like practice themselves.
They weren't a team.
They weren't a team. They were literally coming together last second for the qualifiers.
Their name has changed within the last couple of days because they got someone to like support them for this event. Like, yeah, to ever say that you expect them to come into this and give Mousesports a run for their money, you'd have to be mad, or someone who works at E-Rivals. That's the only 2 options within that. Or of course, Pimp on the desk. He did say he thought Mousesports were going to lose, although I do think that might have been a level of sarcasm. But
Pimp sarcastic? No.
No.
It's not the first time I've seen Woxic get a kill in mid with the boost.
Yeah. That's been one of the only real successes for him with the boost. Other than that, it's been them playing towards him, like that one sort of round on A. But he has had a quiet game, right near the bottom of the board. And Chris J is going to get decked once again. Froze is going to go down, and I'm getting some deja vu here, but this time it's Rops. He runs through the smoke and shows Carrigan how it's done.
Roxy's going to have to take his time, though. He needs to rotate from Carrigan to come in from Banana. Surprised to see, I was about to say, I'm surprised to see Devil going to be watching down towards Banana where they didn't have the bomb planted just yet, but they have time to work with. They're hoping that Sports get aggressive, which is exactly what Wax is going to do. The bomb's being planted. He's going to see it. He gets it down. Headshot onto Freddy. Now Devil left alone against 2. It looked like E-Rivals would get up to 14. But he needs his first kill, and he gets caught looking the wrong way. And Woxic saves the round with a nice 3K. 13 apiece here between Mouse Sports and E-Rivals.
Yeah, definitely not Woxic's best game, but he has had some really high-impact rounds. That being one of them, and the same exact thing happened on the A site.
Rops on 26 kills, by the way.
He's matched Connor as well, so he like Rops is having a good game. A lot of the time, it's not with the craziest plays in the world, but like for example, holding on to Pit, or we saw him just run through the smoke and get 2 kills with the Deeg. Like, we even have evidence that doesn't work very often because Carrigan tried it a couple of rounds ago. So yeah, he's having a very good game. And while speaking of Connor, he only has a Deagle into this round, and I'm not the biggest fan of just like, okay, you're playing better, I'll give you my gun. But in this scenario, I would do it because he has been having a phenomenal game.
Well, the problem now comes is that E-Rivals has hit this B site quite a few times. Well, pretty much only success, like you said before, has come towards B. At what point do they say, all right, it's not working, we need to switch back towards A? And are they going to be prepared to take it where they previously have been halted time and time again?
To be honest, the way that the A site take went last time they tried it, I don't blame them for consistently trying B. Like, the B site takes have been close. The A site was dominant for the CT side, so... And it's happened a couple of times now. The same with, like, Woxic shut them down one round, Rop shut them down another, but that's a great start. Frozen or Chris seem to get caught off almost every single round on this B site. That has not been going well for them. And now we get into the same scenario once again. They're going to attempt this execution, a quick play in. Carrigan's managed to get around the smoke, spots out one, but it should be a quick trade. Crits, however, picks up 2 in return. Keeps this round going for Mouse Sports, knows that there's another there, and now Yuho's left. 1v2 to try and stop Mouse Sports from taking the lead.
Devil tried to go on a flank, try to go for a lurk over towards A. Does not work out for him. Yuho against 2. He's got Woxic to watch out for. He's got Rops as well. And I'd be very scared to be peeking this position over towards CT spawn. Flashbang going to come through. Goes for the straight on. Misses the shots, but Rops won't. And Mouse Sports will be back in the lead here at 14.
Yeah, again, a few big plays. And there's something that Jorlan was sort of talking about from the last map, that realistically, if it wasn't for a few big plays coming out from Mouse Sports, even on the CT side when they weren't winning, that could have been a much closer game. Like, the scoreline was almost a little bit biased in the favor of Mouse Sports when you actually watch the match back. And it's happening again where you're getting big plays out from people like Chris J, but we didn't even expect that would be needed in this sort of match. We thought it was going to be purely dominant. Now we have the MAC-10s purchase once again, and well, there's no surprise where they're going. It's straight in towards the B site. Again, we're going to see one of these players overwhelmed within the first few seconds. Chris praying and Frozen spraying. Molotov will go down as Carrigan's quick on the rotation. They might as well just start playing all of their players on towards this B site. It has been B again and again and again. But it seems like the remedy has been found by Mouse Sports. They sit with a man advantage. Blue on just 15 HP. Connor tagged as well. Rop's already going to come back around the corner and close out one of them, and Connor doesn't stand a chance. A quick cleanup, a defusal, but at least the bomb went down. At least some money can be made for Rivals.
Counter-terrorists win.
I loved watching Chris J there. Jumps to peek over the wall with a nade, and he sees all 5 of them and throws it, turns around for the flashbang, and just like swipes his mouse left to right, hoping to spray them all down.
I don't think he did that much utility damage.
No, I don't think he did either. And E-Rivals, like I said, they're able to get the bomb down, able to get some sort of money on their side. They do have some weapons. The utility is lackluster, to say the best. And Rops is just like, all right, well, you're not going to come to pit. I'm going to come to you. I'm going to push apartments. I'm going to flank around when you rush B.
You don't really blame him at this point.
Yeah.
He has 30 kills. He's really been running away with this match, and the difference maker pretty much. Like, Connor's been putting up a good fight, but no one's been able to beat this man, although Devil actually comes in behind him, clears him very early, so he finally leaves the pit. And now the T's have actually come in his direction, so I'm sure that's going to be infuriating. You've still got Chris now on the other side of the map. They've played a gamble of their own, not sitting anybody over on towards that B site early on, which has pretty much been exactly what happens every single round. So they've doubled back. They've stacked onto this A site, leaving 3 players there. They've got Woxic set up, which all he really needs to do is spot the information. A pick would be great, and yeah, that's all he needed to do. Now Molotovs can go down, and he can fall back and buy some time.
Devil's Lurk again, not really working out for him, gets caught out. They still have 3 players there to defend more towards the A side. If Woxic does fall, we should be seeing the bomb get planted. But now the rotate's going to come in. Kerrigan's going to be there. Chris J is going to stop Devil with the Lurk. 30 seconds left to go, and the last 3 players for EU Rivals trying to keep the hopes alive in this series. Looks like they're going to double back towards this B site. Problem is, all they have is 2 smokes.
Yeah, and there's already 2 players ready and waiting for this take. No surprise they haven't gambled away from it in the end, and as the smokes go down, Woxic still has an angle as they look to cross into the site, and he's just not been missing since he's gone onto the CT side. Only 2 remaining, and there's no time. It's done. And Woxic's just looking for the style points. Not even going to get the final kill in the end. It will be mousesports to finally close out this game, but I think we've all been surprised by how well
surprised.
E Rivals actually managed to play within that match.
I think we've seen more skill out of Connor the Irishman than we've seen in the entirety of UK CS.
That's a bit harsh. Smooth's all right.
Besides Smooya.
Well, okay, well, if you take out the best UK player, then sure.
But no, I want to say I was pleasantly surprised. Like, I think we went to this series, I think all of us did, expecting a very quick 2-0, but they fought really hard. Considering it's a pug, it's literally a team that just came together for this qualifier and actually managed to get through. Maybe there's some thoughts of maybe we should actually stay together as a team. I mean, they obviously still have another match to come up. They'll be playing against Virtus Pro, which I believe will happen tomorrow.
I reckon
if I'm not
they
mistaken,
can take
or it's
that.
off stream today. I'm not sure which one it is necessarily.
If VP play like they did today, I reckon they can take that.
Yeah, and I'd be curious to see if they come into tomorrow. I mean, if they into the playoffs, if they make it through, like, are they gonna be able to prepare and maybe organize some things a little bit better? But it was really cool to see Connor. Yeah, they'll have one day. But my question is, besides this match, has Pimp found his jacket, Sadakist? Are you able to tell me if that's been able to happen? Because I know he was crawling on the floor before.
Stunna's because he thinks he fits it, but it's a little big for him. You know, Stunna's a little stronger, so that makes a little sense.
Has he got a response to that? That's the real question.
Where'd you get that, Jacob?
You done better.
Don't steal from the lost and found.
You done better.
Okay?
You done better.
That's like really rude to your fellow students.
About hunting, huh? What a game.
Yeah, he loves you. Yeah, didn't play that game, though, Jacob. So let's go back to the team that matters.
Sure.
Let's go back to Connor. That guy's awesome.
Yeah, came out of nowhere. I mean, he put up a great fight. I think in general they can be okay with this result. They put up a fight. They made mousesports sweat. On the first map, it was only the first half. They fell short in the second half. On this map, it was all the way to the end. This could have gone to OT. This could potentially have been one of those games mousesports would have slipped out of their hands.
Right.
Had it not been for Rups dropping 30 frags, then that could have been the case.
Right. I mean, you know, like before this segment, we touched on occasionally on certain maps, like stars not showing up for mousesports. And on the first map, it was Robs, you know, who didn't really find himself in the game. And this map, I would actually wanted to touch on Woxic, but he actually saved them with that clutch. I think it was 1v2 or 1v3 towards the end. That was a difference maker, I feel like. That is what gave them the push to just go to the finish line.
And sometimes that happens, right? You get a player that doesn't do much all game, but he has one pivotal moment, and that's, you know, if it hinges on him and he fails there, then you really look at him for the map and the loss. But ultimately, they get away with it. I'm still impressed, though. I kind of agree with what Tom said. If E-Rivals play like that and Virtus Pro show what they did this morning, E-Rivals could make it through this group.
I would agree. I think that what we saw from Virtus Pro today was by no means impressive. I think it was a little bit lackluster. Whereas what we saw in this game, it wasn't obviously a win. They didn't get a map win. They didn't get the W in the end. But they showed us that they can play Counter-Strike at a relatively high level. So if they can replicate that performance tomorrow against Virtus Pro, then sure thing there's a chance.
And I shouldn't say get through this group because that would be the lower bracket. Obviously, they still have mousesports in the top bracket now against Tricked. But mousesports which conversely didn't look good, in my opinion. There was some absences. We talked about the lowest link on either map, whether it was Rops or Voxic, but not even the best execution at times.
Yeah, they did look a bit disjointed at times, but I personally am not ringing the alarm bells just yet. Like you think about the major, there's also they had like a colder start. Some players didn't show up, and it was towards the end of their run where they really got things going. So maybe it's the same case here. And maybe they need a bit of time to warm up, and once they get in the server, for example, both maps you saw, it was the second half where they really just came alive and started fragging out. So I guess that's what we might see here.
It is a known fact that you often play up to the level of your position as well,
Sure.
in that sense. So I think mousesports, without being disrespectful to those guys, they played to the level of their opposition. They did what was needed. They put in the effort that was needed. Rups had a great game.
Yes.
And I agree with you. As soon as they, face a good team, which Tricked have shown to be so far in this tournament, then they will step it up. They will take it more seriously. And hopefully we'll see Voxic have a more consistent great game.
Well, that starts off our first group, Group A for the day. Obviously, Tricked will now go up against mousesports in the upper bracket tomorrow. Best of threes all the way through. We move to our next group. It's MIBR versus Gamers Zone. I was going to say Gamers
Zone,
Legion,
yeah.
but it's Gamers Zone. We'll get to that in a moment. Gentlemen, final thoughts on that match. Again, do we actually think there's a chance Virtus.pro don't show anything in this group?
I think there's a legit chance that they will go out of the group tomorrow. I think
Yes.
what we saw today in this game right here was better than Virtus.pro did. So I'd say there's a realistic chance, and again, that would be a huge disappointment considering Snacks is on that lineup, and they are in a rebuilding phase.
Well, have been for a while, it seems. With that, we'll take a break. I did preempt it. We've got MIBR taking over next against Gamer Zone. That's going to be another one-sided matchup on paper, but things are looking a little strange in the server today. We'll be back to join you in just a minute.